of abandonment. Look at the green here. It's not a method, it's moss growing from it. Look at the lamps up there. This is, I would say that having done this for a couple of years, this is what I would call the ultimate experience to find a place like this on the 16th floor of an abandoned skyscraper in Detroit. Yeah, one more. I think we're up on the floor here. On the roof here. Yeah. This is on the roof of the Wurlitzer, and this is the Metropolitan. It's just as abandoned as the Wurlitzer. And they are, I've been through both of them. Look at the Metropolitan there, abandoned since 1977. It's kind of Gothic style, Art Deco, mid-1920s, and today it's full of birches and we won't find decay like that anywhere except for Detroit. Another one, please. And this is another one of these schools. The amazing thing about this school is that it has been left for as much as about 25-30 years. It was part of a Catholic parish that had it, and of course these white Catholics, they left Detroit during the 1970s and 80s, and the school was abandoned and left to rot. Another one. Same school. Of course the scrappers have stolen all the metal. What remains is part of the VC chairs. Another one, please. This is one of my favorites. As the school used to like and I looked when I was a kid. Another one, please. And this is the remnants of the famous air company Pan Am. This is the Pan Am office in Detroit. It's left in a time capsule in one of these other large houses, the Farwell building in downtown Detroit. And of course Pan Am today, it was one of the symbols of American capitalism during the 1950s and 60s. When the Beatles came to America, of course they were photographed with the Pan Am airplane. Then James Bond went to America and James Bond movies, he went with Pan Am. It was the air company of the 1960s, 50s, and then it was confronted by the new competitive companies like Virgin and then during the 80s, 90s they couldn't withstand the new competition. Of course it was being a symbol of American capitalism. They were subject to terrorist attacks like Lockerbie and so on. And Pan Am died during the early 90s. And today it's just left in Detroit, because Detroit is where Western civilization stopped in 1985 or something like that. Another one is same map, the Pan Am map. It's a bit strange. It's like the planet of the ape or something like that. Another one, please. And this is the interior of the Farwell building, built in 1916, and nobody has touched it since then. You can think about the feeling coming in there early Sunday morning, finding the remnants of Pan Am and this fantastic staircase. Another one, same staircase, no rain. Yeah, another one, please. And this is the last picture. It's one of the large churches of Detroit. Another example of what happens when the white middle class disappears. Nobody uses this Catholic church anymore. It's deconsecrated. And then, this is the work, of course, of the scrappers. They have torn these pillars down because they have copper inside them. You can think about the noise when they are trying to get copper off this copper on them. And then the story of Detroit, and that's kind of the presentation of the project that I've been into in Sweden since 2005. It's a kind of photographic project about the effects of globalization, first in Sweden and then in Europe. And then in this new book, the effects of globalization in North America, Japan, and pictures from Eastern Europe as well. And actually, because it's been very successful, one might say, in Sweden. Sold 50,000 books and it's become the Pan Am. I think it's a very good example of how you could use digital technology in order to present your work. I think looking at it, it's tougher today as compared to in 2005 because the internet is more filled up and so on. But still, I think the important thing here for you and so on is that it's another way of using digital technology in order to find new audiences or markets or whatever for the kind of artistic work that you do. And at least for me, it's going to be very fun to do. Okay? I take a few questions as well. I think that wraps up my presentation. That's at least fine. Yeah.
What do you think is your fascination with this decay? It's like very immediate archaeology, which you know from first hand the history, and it's a very short span in years. So where is your fascination with this recent history as a decay? Where does it come from?
Can I take the next picture now talking? Looking at this picture, next one, I think it sort of explains it. This is a pool built in 1957, cost about $1 million to build it in 1957, and today it's in complete decline. Fascination is really in that picture. It's two parts really for me. First of all, why did it happen? Why did this? Because this was a hotel complex with more than 1,000 rooms. One of the most popular ones in the United States, because this is also the United States, in the late 1950s. And then it declined spectacularly during the 60s, 70s, and was left to rot in 1986. It's standing like that since 86. But one reason is, my interest as an economic historian. Why did it happen? What was the kind of structural changes that caused this? And the other one, of course, is my interest in art, or because it's a very, very graphic decline as well, and you won't find these kind of places anywhere else except for the abandoned places. So it's a combination for me. I want to understand it, and of course I understand some of it from the beginning because I've been working as an economist and economic historian for 20 years. So I had some experience with that. And then you, of course, when you find the places and then you find more about this history, and it's most of the time very, very fascinating. And then the other part of it is aesthetic, because it's fantastic places to see. And also it's a bit like, you can't do any kind of time traveling, that's impossible. And this is the closest thing you can do to time traveling. Finding 1958 once more, or 1965 or whatever. So and that's what I say, it's addictive, because you find places that just don't exist. And that's the reason, combination of economic change and aesthetic value. Yeah.
Do you think that we could actually learn something from this, or is it just? I mean, because of course, like buildings that are in decay, they're always fascinating in some way. But do you see like further than that?
I don't know. I quite often talk to politicians in Gothenburg where I live about the importance of integrations, for example. How you have to integrate the people that have come to Gothenburg, and we have several thousands of people from Somalia and so on. And what I use is that I use pictures from Detroit or something like that, because it's in order to explain what happened when they didn't do it in the United States. And I don't know, I don't think that the politicians in Gothenburg learn something from it, but you're still able to use it in that kind of place. And I do it, and also you can say that it's been a way for me to communicate about globalization and integration and whatever. And if people learn something from it, or I don't know, it's up to the people who look at it. But you could use it, and it would be possible to avoid some problems. I think, but if people do, I don't know. I got an email from a guy a couple of days ago, and he was very happy. He said, I bought my last book, and I said, he wrote that he had been following my internet page for several years, and because of that, he developed an interest in economic history. He wrote that he had been able to, I spell it out, he had been able to make a large amount of money during this economic crisis because he had been able to sell his shares at the right point in time, in 2008 or something like that, and then buy it back when the market was at. So some people are able to use this kind of knowledge in some way. But I don't know. I think in a way we're more or less. We can't avoid doing the same mistakes as our parents did and that we did ourselves 5 years ago and so on. I think that's part of the human experience. Not please. Same kind of swimming pool. Yeah, the shares are from 1957 because the place fell into disrepute during the early 60s. Why? Yeah, because the charter flights were appearing. People were able, this is from Catskills, upstate New York. That's where the New Yorkers went for the holidays. This is where the Swedish boxer Ingvar Johansson was training before he became the world champion in 1959. What happened was that we had jet flights to Miami. It was much warmer in Miami. It was much more fun to go to Las Vegas, so everybody left the Catskills. It was left with the same kind of shares. Nobody put in any money here during the 60s and 70s, and it collapsed in 1960s. Left in this time capsule. Yeah.
I'm just thinking aloud here, but as an economic, I didn't get your background completely right. Whatever you were interested in economics, and I see this as archaeology still. And usually these are leftovers not available to the public. And you know, like Albert Speer, he had this sentiment that you should make buildings that would make nice ruins, so that people in the future could be able to watch the ruins. And I see some kind of link here that could this be interesting because they leave some kind of ruin of a failed economy that is usually not available because it would be teared down and replaced. And then what is left here is abandoned because it would not be replaced, but normally this is not the case. Could it be some fascination?
It was left because they had the last bankruptcy in 1996, and then there's been a few financial groups that has bought it and then lost it, because they have been speculating that New York would legalize casinos. And if they would legalize casinos, they would open. But New York State hasn't legalized casinos, so it's just been standing there waiting for something to happen. And it's talking about open to the public. It's absolutely no problem to go there. I had a friend, and she was there for 3 weeks ago, and she sent me a few pictures of herself sitting in one of these chairs, and there was eyes on it. Yeah, I should have wanted to go there myself. And if you want to get a coordination or something, we go to New York. No, absolutely no problem to visit this place. Just about 120 kilometers north from New York. You just walk right in. Nobody cares. And it's a kind of testimony to the enormous forces of the capitalist economy. Last picture is the big Olympic-sized swimming pool at the same place. It's called the Grossinger's Hotel. And it's one of the most fabulous ruins that we can find in the Western world. It's been photographed by I would say, hundreds of urban explorers today. Still, on a philosophical note, I had seen pictures of it for several years on the internet. And I got there in August 2010. It was still like, yeah, I had seen it, but I couldn't understand it. So my friend who was there 2 weeks ago said that this is really the 8th miracle of the world, and yeah, that's about the indoor swimming pools. Kind of testimony to the enormous destructive forces of capitalist change. This is what happened when Miami and Las Vegas takes over. Ships chartered jet flights, and Catskills dies. It was tens of thousands of hotel rooms up there, and they all closed down during the 70s and 80s. Right.
I have some small observation just to comment. It's somewhere like these photographs, which reminds me like Dostoevsky's movie, Stryker. Stryker, I think.
Stalker, yeah.
The abandoned buildings and all. And there are 3 characters continuously themselves into the attic and all. So, yeah, I find some.
Yeah, and there's a stalker, and that kind of environments have a fascination. And of course, it's that kind of fascination that I have exploited. But yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. Thank you.
Thank you a lot for coming. I hope you enjoyed. We have in this space the publication of the exhibition, the Abyss. So please feel free to have a look. Also, we have other publications of the previous guests of the forum. Thank you.
Oh,